Beyblade X introduces a new bottom piece called the bit. The bit decides the performance of the Beyblade based on the shape of the performance tip. The burst generation has drivers as their bottom piece, and we have many different drivers with many different gimmicks. So how would those drivers translate to Beyblade X bits? I teamed up with Spookiee, who has made many different concepts of burst drivers into Beyblade X bits as well as many other Beyblade models, and I highly recommend you to follow them on Instagram, linked in the description below. The first driver I will talk about is the blow driver. The blow driver has a flat tip with a low surface area. This bit is very simple and fits in with the current state of Beyblade X. It is also very similar to Orb and Spike, where the tips are smaller variants of existing bits. Let's level things up and introduce the atomic bit. This bit has 16 gears and an eternal spinning ball as its tip. The atomic driver was amazing in the burst era for competitive play and would be great to have an X version, since it's very possible to create an eternal ball-like bit. Another gimmick that would be cool is a spring-loaded gimmick like the Nothing driver. The Nothing bit is a wide cone shape with a spring built in, allowing it to temporarily speed up when the spring is all the way down. The Nothing bit would be perfect for a spin-stealing Beyblade, and now that we already have our first left spin, a spin stealer isn't too far. Since attack types are very prominent in Beyblade X, I think a cool gimmick for a future release is to have a free spinning disc gimmick like the volcanic driver. The volcanic bit is similar to the flat bit, but with the main shape being free spinning, allowing the bit to speed up and hit hard. Although volcanic is controversial, I think it suits the playstyle of Beyblade X, being very fast and uncontrollable. Another similar gimmick is a free spinning rubber ball like Keep. The Keep bit uses a hard rubber material to keep the Beyblade in the stadium and less prone to being knocked out. The rubber also allows the Beyblade to speed up, hitting hard attack back. Rubber is somewhat controversial in Beyblade X, as many fans believe that rubber isn't required in Beyblade X like previous generations, and that rubber might actually be worse than normal plastic. But ignoring that, we can move on to the variable bit. The variable bit uses a hard rubber with smaller rubber pieces that wear down over time, making the bit more and more aggressive. If this bit is ever released, I imagine it would be very chaotic, as the variable was known as being uncontrollable in the stadium, but I can't lie, a wear-down gimmick would be awesome. Another iconic driver is Unite. Although we already have a Unite bit in Beyblade X, this unit uses a coating of rubber around the main point. The rubber allows the Beyblade to grip better into the stadium while also being stable. The coated Unite bit is also a fan favorite, so it would be very appreciated if TT did make a coated Unite bit. Speaking of rubber bits, a rubber flat would also be amazing, as rubber flats have been iconic ever since the beginning of Beyblade. I mentioned before that rubber bits are controversial, as rubber might be too uncontrollable and perform worse than normal bits. But I think we should at least have one release of rubber flat, just so we have an X version of a rubber flat. Earlier in the year we got the disc ball bit, where it uses a huge disc around the bit. Well, why can't we have more versions like a disc point similar to the wave driver? The wave bit can be interesting, as it's probably going to have good stamina properties as well as be decent for attack. Either way, another beefy bit would be welcomed. The dimension driver is a driver that has 6 main modes that change its height each time. A Beyblade X version of this bit would only really have 2 modes, and the bit would mainly use the X dash to gain height. I think this bit would be very cool, as your Beyblade would start off really short and then increase its height during battle. Finally, we have probably the most revolutionary bit if it is ever to release, and that is the bearing bit. The bearing bit would use a bearing and a palm plastic material to allow the Beyblade to spin forever. This gimmick is one of the most iconic gimmicks in Beyblade, and the bearing bit coming to Beyblade X would be game-changing. That brings us to the end of the video. Please make sure to support Spookiee on their Instagram. Also, if you enjoy my content, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos analyzing the Beyblade brand.